Hey all, welcome back to SLB Drinks. What I hate about living in Indiana, and I don't hate much about it. I really don't. But man, are we slow to get bourbon releases. It's just we are. I don't think it's that far behind Trenton, but I have seen several reviews. I haven't watched them, but I've seen them come out on YouTube. But hey, it got here yesterday. Finally got here. So
well, you know what's
I'm
interesting?
Happy. I'm happy.
I didn't know this was even a thing.
Get out of here. I've texted Harry. He's sick of me on this one. I bet you I've texted him 8 times about this bottle.
Well, it's finally here. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I didn't realize this was coming out.
And I think he pulled the favor to get it here.
Okay, that's not surprising.
I think one of his buddies drove it here from a different state. So I'm not even sure if Indiana has it, to be quite honest with you.
Because he just wanted you to stop texting him, probably.
Probably.
I got you. Sure. Well, yeah, good on you, Harry.
Pulled the favor to get me off his back. Harry, I don't blame you. A little bit about this bottle. This is a 7-year, but it is a bottle and bond.
Okay.
So it's roughly like the other bottle that we had, bottle and bond, but that one's probably the 4-year. But this is a 7-year, so that's good. Coming out of Jim Beam. I did look up the mash bill for you, bud. 63% corn, 27% rye, 10% malted barley. So, you know, as we know with Jim Beam, with the old granddad releases, this is a high rye bourbon mash bill, 27% rye. 100 proof, of course, because it is bottled and bond.
Yep.
I bought this from Harry for $45. I did do a little tiny bit of research. Okay. You know, you probably can get it for about $40. So,
okay,
give or take a few bucks, you can get about $40, which I think is, depending on what we find here, but I think, you know, just by looking at it, it's a 7-year, it's a pretty good deal.
It's interesting, like all of the 7-year products that have kind of been coming out as of late. I'm curious as to why that's a thing.
You know what? I just thought of something we should do. I know we're in the middle of this series that we got going on, picking our best, our favorite of genres of bourbon, trying to find one bottle that'll knock off Jack 14. But when we have time in the schedule, we need to blind 7-year bourbon because there's several.
That's a good idea.
And they're all, you know, relatively efficiently priced. We got Jim Beam 7, Old Granddad 7. We got the new Old Fitz 7, Heaven Hill Bottle and Bond 7. There's several. I would love to do that.
Let's do it.
All right. Well,
that'd be a good idea.
Let's check this one out first.
This was what you said, $40?
$45 at Harry's, but give or take, you should be able to get it roughly around $40.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's cool to see, like, when they do a bottled and bond product that is older than the minimum requirement. I feel like that kind of used to be 100%. A thing that was a little bit more common. You'd have a bottled and bond product 100%. That was like 10-year, 15-year, like some like 80s, 90s releases.
Yes.
It's cool to see this come out, especially right now when everybody like Old Fit 7 is coming out and all these other 7 years. It's interesting.
Hey, why not?
And Jim Beam 7 last year kind of crushed it.
They did.
It was really good. $28 for that or something like that?
It was like knocking on $30. It was fantastic for that money, I thought. So I'm hoping for more of the same. As you know, I'm not a massive Jim Beam fan, but I always have. It's backer, so I always have the regular release of Old Granddad Bottle and Bond back in the back bar.
Get some like maple glazed apricots with anise.
What in the world? How do you come up with that so fast?
I'm a sommelier, don't you know?
I got one whiff in there, bro.
That's some pretty strong anise in there for me, like black licorice notes.
Yeah, I know. I definitely get that. I definitely get that. I'm getting kind of like an orange marmalade. It's not like a orange, bright orange.
Yeah.
But more of a sweet orange, too. Maybe a hint of caramel.
Yeah, I think I lied about that apricot maple syrup note. I'm not getting that much anymore.
Yeah,
It's kind of nutty. Typical of like a Jim Beam note. Okay. I'm not surprised by that one. I am very surprised by that black licorice note in there. It's kind of different.
Yeah, it's not strong, but it's in there.
It's faint. It's like when you like absinthe wash a glass for a cocktail or something.
Yeah,
it's like
I love
faint
that.
Notes in there. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it is. It smells more aged, well-rounded.
I wouldn't say the nose is like overly complex or anything like that. Like there's a couple notes in there that you can get, but
Wow. Okay. Right. That was here. Let me speak. I'm not sure if this is going to be up your alley. I'm not sure, and you can speak to your.
Can I speak now?
To yourself. I mean, for yourself. That's what I meant. But I'll hold my thought there for a minute.
Wow. Better on the second sip. The first sip for me was very confusing, and I was just gonna say straight up I didn't like it. But it's. Can I get another glass?
Yeah. What are you trying to say? I tainted the glass again?
No, I'm gonna try the regular bottle with it and kind of see what.
I got you. You remember that show we did where I kind of wiped the glass inside with a little bit of a used towel and you about had a heart attack? Smelled like old dish rag. Remember that, honey, when he said that?
Yes, I do.
Which time?
I think that was during one of our Bourbon Madness tournaments.
It did have a dirty dish rag type of a vibe. This smells like the janitor's cleaning closet now. What's happening?
That does?
So yeah, smell that.
Get out of
It's
here.
like cleaning products.
It's a little bit light.
Okay.
I'm dealing with this one.
This is definitely more. This is definitely more complex and darker, and you can definitely tell that it has.
Definitely has a little bit of an age to it. It's definitely more well-rounded for sure. What I was going to say earlier, to me, on that first sip and a little bit into the second sip, to me, it's very orange marmalade forward. To me, and Trenton's perspective on what he likes and doesn't like, he is not. What are you doing? He's slinging that stuff everywhere. Trenton is not a fan of orange or orange flavors per se. So I that's why I said I'm not sure if this is going to be up his alley.
Man, you're right though. That like orange marmalade-y, it's faint. Also reminds me a little bit of like if there was like an orange pledge type of a thing. Not in a bad way. It's just a little bit artificial tasting to me.
To me, Trenton, I'm getting a little bit of that nuttiness. Okay,
Yeah.
I am getting that. That's kind of like a Jim Beam staple. But more than that, it it's not super complex, and I can't I'd be lying to you if I come up with 4 or 5 tasting notes because I can't. But to me, it's got some caramel in it, and that orange marmalade note. And when I say marmalade, I include that because I do find even on the taste, that orange note to be sweet.
Yeah.
It's not like a citrusy, bright, in-your-face orange. It's not like that. It's like a nice sugary orange.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of with you on the sentiment that like this isn't the most complex, most incredible new budget thing that I could maybe think of off the top of my head. I do think there's some nice like maybe very faint vanilla in it. There's some oak in it. There's like that orangey marmalade type thing that you were talking about, and a little bit of sweet, like a caramelness.
Yeah. Did you taste the anise that you
No, I
found
didn't.
anymore? Neither did I.
It's non-existent on the palate, I think.
Neither did I. So we're the same on that one.
It's still there on the nose though, a little, not as much as when it was first poured.
I caught it. I didn't catch it on my own, but when you told me about it, I was looking for it. I could see where you're coming from. Yeah.
It's opened up a little nicely on the nose. It's not as like anise forward. I don't think so. I think that's disappeared a little bit.
No, I didn't think that. I didn't think that at the beginning. It's probably something. Sometimes, like I thought it was a little orange marmalade forward, but maybe when you're smelling aromas, that first one that you get tends to be dominant in your mind.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I like it, but I can understand why it wouldn't be high on Trenton's list. That's just something he's never been that fond of, is orange type flavors.
It's interesting though. I like rye, so I would imagine for most high rye mash bills, I'd be a pretty big fan.
Do you find that bitey with that high rye? I don't.
I don't know. No. If I think the bitiness that I'm finding, if there's really any, I like it. I think maybe that's why I like kind of how you don't necessarily notice peat in like a lightly peated scotch and I do.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the case here because I do really enjoy rye whiskey.
I think that's a nice, easy sipper.
Here's my next question though.
Oh boy. Okay.
Would you rather have this or Jim Beam 7 Black Label?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to do that blind, but you're going to ask me off the cuff. I'd say the Black Label.
I'm with you. Yeah.
But,
I would love to hear what folks are thinking about this. Thankfully, I mean, hopefully this is one that you can find in your area with some with relative ease. It's not going to be flying off the shelves, I wouldn't think.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I wouldn't think so.
I feel like Old Granddad is kind of like not a divisive bottle, but because it's a higher rye mash bill, some of the stuff that they come out with is a little bit more easily obtainable.
Sure.
But I was hoping it would be a little better. I'm not mad about it. I wouldn't personally purchase one myself, so I'll let you keep that one here and add it to your
I do like it.
Old Granddad collection. Do you see this going pretty good in a cocktail, or would you just kind of stick with the standard bottle?
I'd stick with that over there more. Like, I mean, obviously you can use this in a cocktail. Of course you can. Yeah, you can. But, I'd probably stick with the $25 or $20 bottle and bond Old Granddad myself.
Huh. Well, hey, thanks for asking Harry off the hook about this.
I was rattling him up all the time trying to find this, just so I can get it out to you folks as soon as we can. And unfortunately, this is the best we could do. So, however, it kind of on first taste it ended up the way I thought it would. I kind of like it, to be honest with you.
Good.
And it's a Jim Beam product, and that's saying something for me.
I agree.
Yeah, I kind of like it. I do. Trenton, for the reasons I told you, I kind of figured it may not be high on his list. But
let us know if you want to see the 7-year blind. We'll probably do it anyways because I'm actually very curious to see how different things align.
I think it'd be a great blind to do with a lot of efficiently priced bourbon and even with the 7-year black label, pretty, basically a budget type as well.
I'm trying to think of like a fifth that we can do.
We'll figure it out.
If there's a fifth that we're missing, we got Jim Beam Black Label. We have Old Fitz 7-year. We have Heaven Hill Bottled and Bond 7-year, and now this Old Granddad 7-year Bottled and Bond. I'd love to toss a fifth in there.
Yeah.
Whether it's from a craft distillery or a large distillery.
Would too.
Just if you have any suggestions, make sure they're efficiently priced or around the same price point as some of these other ones, $50 to $70, something like that, or $40 to $70, something like that.
Perfect.
All right,
guys. That's all we got for you today. Hope you enjoyed it. I did. Trenton can't get everything he wants all the time, so it's fine. He'll be fine. As always, we ask you to please drink responsibly. We'll see you next time right down here with Trenton and me in a good old basement bourbon bar. See you later.